Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with our fifth lecture. It is going to be a grammar lesson. It's the present progressive tense. So as we said, our lesson is the present progressive tense. We have already explained the present simple tense. Today we are going to start with the progressive tense. We are going to explain the uses and the form of the present progressive tense. First of all, let's together read these sentences to identify the uses of the present progressive tense. First sentence says, the teacher is currently explaining a lesson to the class. In this sentence, we can see that the teacher is currently explaining or now explaining a new lesson to the class. Let's see the second sentence. I am working hard in order to improve my fluency in English. So this person is now, during this period of time, working hard to improve his fluency in English. Number 3, this weekend we are visiting my friend at the hospital. So we already planned to visit my friend at the hospital this weekend. So if you can see, all of the verbs are, or all of the sentences are expressing actions that are done at the moment, now, or planned actions. So let's start explaining the uses. Let's move to the explanation of the first sentence. Number 1. The teacher is currently explaining a new lesson to the class. This means that the teacher is now explaining a new lesson to the class. Now, I mean at the moment of speaking. So, the first use of the present progressive tense is to express an action that is taking place at the moment of speaking. Another example is, I am watching a movie now. So now, at the moment of speaking, I am watching a movie. My mom is preparing lunch now, at the moment of speaking. We are doing a math test at the moment of speaking. These are actions done at the moment of speaking. So these are actions that we should use the present progressive tense to express them. Let's move to the second sentence. I am working hard in order to improve my fluency in English. I am working hard, but does this mean at the moment of speaking now? No, it means during a certain period of time. For example, in these 3 months, I am working hard to improve my fluency in English. I am studying hard for the exams. It doesn't mean that you are studying hard now. It means that you are studying hard this period of time. So the second use of the present progressive tense is to express an action that is taking place at present, but not necessarily at the moment of speaking. Sentence number 3. This weekend, we are visiting my friend at the hospital. The thing that I want you to pay attention for is this word, this weekend. This shows that we already planned for an action and we are going to do it in the future. This weekend, we are visiting my friend at the hospital. This sentence means that this weekend, we already planned that this weekend we are visiting or we are going to visit my friend at the hospital. So this third use of the present progressive tense is to express a planned future action. Next Monday, I am visiting my grandmother. So I already planned to do this action next Monday. So the present progressive tense is used to express an action that is taking place at the moment of speaking, now, or expresses an action that is taking place at present but not necessarily at the moment of speaking, or express a planned future action. How do you know that the action is planned? You know from the words this weekend, next month, next week, on Saturday, and so on. You will know that the action is already planned for. Now let's talk about the form of the present progressive tense, and pay attention here, this is very important. The form means how to write a verb. How do I write the verb? I write the verb by writing the verb to be is, am, or are, plus the main verb plus ing. So usually, definitely in every progressive verb, you have to write the ing form of the verb. What is the form of the present progressive tense verb? It is to write the verb to be. Verb to be in the present is either am, is, or are, plus the main verb plus ing. For example, she is cooking. Is the verb to be, cook is the main verb, and then I added ing. So she is cooking in the kitchen. The second sentence, they are playing. Are is the verb to be, play is the main verb, and ing is the part that we have to add to the verb to make it progressive. So they are playing football. He is going to the gym a lot these days. Is the verb to be, go is the main verb, and then I add ing. So this is the form of the present progressive tense. Form means the way I write the verb, okay? Now, let's move to some word or time expressions or transitions or adverbs of frequency that show us that this action is done at the moment of speaking, or a planned action, or an action that is happening at present. Briefly, let's talk about the transitions that tell us that we have to use the present progressive here. Some of these time expressions are at the moment, now, at present, tonight, at night, and nowadays. So when I see one of these expressions, it means I have to use the present progressive tense. For example, we are going to my friend's party tonight. Tonight shows that this is a planned future action. We are going to our friend's party tonight. So this shows that tonight is an expression that shows that the action is a planned future action. So I should use the present progressive tense. Now let's briefly talk about the spelling rules in the present continuous tense or in the present progressive. Continuous is the progressive tense. First of all, we are going to talk about verbs that end with E, such as make, write, and drive. For example, in this kind of words that end with E, we have to cross the E and add ing, same as we did here in the example. As you can see, we crossed the E and directly added ing. So make, making, write, writing, and drive, driving. In the verbs that end with double E, like agree or see, in this case, we do not make any change. We just add ing, so it becomes seeing or agreeing. Now let's move to the verbs that end with a consonant preceded by a vowel. I mean consonant, vowel, consonant, like hit or let or put or run or sit. In this case, we double the last consonant, like we did here in hit or in let or in run or in sit. We double the last consonant and we add ing. Now let's move to the verbs that end with a consonant and they have two syllables. It means two syllable verbs. Two syllable means two sounds, like for, get, pre, fair, up, set. These are verbs that have two syllables. In this case, we also double the last consonant and then we add ing. Verbs that end with ie, such as lie or tie, in this case, we have to make some changes. We have to cross the ie change them into to y, and then add ing, same as we did here. We crossed the ie, we put y instead, and then we added ing. Verbs that end with c, such as picnic, in this case we have to add k and then ing. Now let's move to the verbs that end with y, such as carry, enjoy, or hurry. These verbs, we just add ing to them when we want to change them to the progressive tense. We have some exceptions, such as age, die, budget, enter, and so on. In these cases, we add ing, or we just add ing and so on, even if they end with e and so on, because these are exceptions. Now let's move to the most important part, which is the stative verbs. We have something called a stative verb, or verbs of state. These verbs express a certain state, a mental state, an emotional state, verbs of senses, and verbs of possession. In this case, we cannot use ing. So in these verbs, we cannot use the ing form. For example, I cannot say I am knowing, or I am remembering, or I am imagining, or I am understanding. This is wrong. We have to keep the verb as it is. I know, I remember, I forget, I understand. Emotional verbs also, such as like, hate, love, adore. I cannot say I am hoping, I hope. I cannot say I am loving, I love. I cannot say I am admiring, I admire. So in this case, we cannot use ing form also. Verbs of senses, such as smell, taste, hear, see, and feel. I cannot say I am feeling sad, I feel sad. I cannot say I am smelling, I say I smell. I cannot say I am tasting or I am hearing also. So I have to keep the verb as it is. Verbs of possession, such as have, own, belong, and possess. I cannot say I am owning a red car. I say I own a red car. I cannot say I am having a new bag. I have a new bag. So these are called stative verbs. Please pay attention to these verbs. There's only one exception in these verbs, which is the verb have. The verb have might be used in the ing form or without ing form. Why? If the verb have is used to mean possess, I mean I have something, I use it without ing. For example, I have 2 cars. But if I am using the verb have to show a certain action, it means I can use it with ing. For example, I can say she is having a bath now. He is having lunch with his friends. So I am using it to show a certain action. Now let's talk about the questions and negative forms of the present progressive tense. I used the same sentence just to show you the changes. Let's start with the first one. I am playing football. If I want to change it to the negative, I add not. So I am not playing football. And I start my question with the verb to be. I start with am. Am I playing football? The second sentence, he is playing football. I also add not. He is not playing football, or he isn't playing football. And I also start my question with the verb to be is. He is playing football. He is not playing football. Is he playing football? Number 3, they are playing football. So when I want to change it to the negative, I use not or aren't. they are not, or they aren't playing football. And I also start with the verb to be. So I start with are. Are they playing football? Here, as you can see, there's an exercise. We have to choose the correct answer. Let's start. I already marked the correct answers with red. Look, Thomas is bringing. Why did I say is bringing, not brings? Because he said look. So this shows that the action is happening at the moment of speaking. My older sister is often listening or often listens. Often listens. Why? Because I have often, and this shows a habitual action. We are writing an exercise now. I used are writing because I have now. Our teacher is giving us a test every month, or gives us a test every month. It gives because they said every month. So this is an action which is repeating every month. Listen, Dad is reading a story to Ricky. I used is reading because listen shows that the action is happening now or at the moment of speaking. Mr. Michael usually is growing or grows roses in his garden. Because we used usually, it means this is a habitual action, so I chose grows. They are building a new house on the hill now. Since we have now, it means the action is happening now at present, so I use are building. Maria is drinking or drinks milk every morning. They used every morning, so I have to say drinks since this is a habitual or a repetitive action. Look, Nick is running down the hill. He is running now. Why? Because we used also look.